Welcome to the Lotco Business Podcast, a show all about helping you as a retailer, brand or creative understand the actual business side of running your business. I offer straightforward practical advice about the nitty-gritty of making money from your creative passion. We will be covering bite-sized business and marketing lessons as well as interviews with experts and trailblazers in the fashion, homewares and design industries. My name is Melissa Robbins. I'm a business coach, colour-loving, non-coffee drinking Melburnian. Let's get into it. Hello and thank you for joining me today. I'm super excited to bring you a special guest today. I have Donna Wallace from the House of Orion here to tell us all about her brand. So take it away, Donna. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and who House of Orion is?
Sure. Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here with you, Mel. The House of Orion is a custom-made jewellery business where we custom make jewellery for people's souls. So it's quite unique and very personalised, and I work with large, ethically sourced coloured gemstones, predominantly in rings. And it just brings me so much joy to make these gorgeous pieces of jewellery that activate people's energetic fields and enhance their lives. So,
and that's what intrigued me when I first found out about your brand. I was like, what do you mean? Jewelry that energetically activates you. I was like, that is obviously something very different, something unique. And that's what I loved about it, that it was something that intrigued me, first of all, of course. And then, I wanted to know more about it. So how did you get started in this? Or have you always been a jeweler? Yeah, tell us a little bit about your background.
I've had no background in jewelry, which is kind of the craziest thing about it. But I have a huge, long background in energy work. Okay. So I have been doing energy healing work for over 25 years. And I know, hard to believe, Mel, I don't look that old.
I know I say that when I'm like, I've been doing this for 25 years.
Okay. Yeah, you just caught my age, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been doing energy healing work for so long and I'm proficient in that space and in working with people. So I do holistic counselling and family constellation therapy, the whole shebang, Reiki and all of that sort of stuff, and have predominantly done that. I've had a varied career, Mel, from corporate HR to then taking off and doing my own business. And I turned it from a hobby side hustle, hobby business into my only work. And then this idea basically came along at the beginning of last year for the House of Orion. It was what I call divinely downloaded. I'd never thought about having a product-based business. I thought I would always have a service-based business. I just thought that was my jam and that's what I would always do. And lo and behold, this divine download came in intuitively. And one of the first things that I saw, Mel, was I was in a meditative state and I was out in the stars in the universe and I saw a person's hand and a ring slide onto that person's finger, and energy run up their hand, arm and into their body. And then they just started glowing. And I was like, oh, what's this? And this has been, I've worked really hard, obviously, to create build a whole new business and get it to a point where I could develop, fully flesh out my process and have amazing quality pieces of jewelry as an output.
Well, the thing is, I love the fact that, the way that it came to you, and obviously that's a big part of who you are and what you do, in that it's about that intuition and it's about receiving messages when they come in and obviously being open to that as well.
Yes, that's right. So the first step in our process is really about having someone connect with their soul. So I take people through a guided process. So before we even get to talking about what coloured gemstones you like and what sort of precious metal you love and how you want it to look, I take people through this process to deeply connect with their soul and for them to start to feel and experience who they are on that core level, on that true essence, their true essence self. And what happens with that is that they basically are transported into this space where they're they get to know themselves in this deeply visceral way, you really feel it, you don't just see it or you don't just, it's this real deeply experiential process. Mm-hmm. And then you also feel what is it? Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming as this person, as this soulful being? And what is it that your soul wants to express through you as part of that evolution? And so in that, this is what I call the blossom session. And in that blossom session, at the end, often the person sees what kind of ring or colored gemstone that would be like the fit for them. And then I go off and intuitively choose gemstones that match the frequency of what that person's experienced in their blossom session. So what is that frequency? What is the energy of the stone that we're looking for that would absolutely light that person up?
Wow. And again, it's just that whole thing of well, to me, I don't know, how I have never seen it before. So to me, I just feel like it is such a unique way, as you said, like you're connecting that service-based and the product together. So
Yes.
having those two combine is that really USP. It is that really special point of difference.
Yeah, it is. It's really different and it's really special and it's really personalized and customized. And that's our whole jam. Like, I just love working with people individually, and I love getting to understand who people are as that essence. And then it's so different and so unique for each person. So of course, every ring is so different and so unique, both in terms of the way that they look, but also the energies and the messages and the stories behind them. And that's what I love the most, is like, oh gosh, I wish I could just share like the full story behind every ring, because they're so special and it highlights the uniqueness of that person as well.
Yeah. And I think, as you said, like, it is a process. So how many different steps are there that you have in the process? You sort of have that initial energy reading. Is that your first point of call for getting started?
So before I said that the blossom session was our first step, actually it's our second step. So I have 5 steps in the process, and the first step is actually a free energy reading that I offer people. It's a 10-minute energy reading. It's like packed with punch. I basically read your energy field and tell you what like gemstones could be the perfect match for you. And in those energy readings, I don't always get to, but I try to get to like what your true auric colors are. So I believe that we all have pretty much 2 main colors that sit there in our aura. And why do I look at that? Because I think that often what I've seen with my customers is often one of our true auric colors is actually the perfect match in terms of a colored gemstone. It's like it kind of like reinforces your energy, like it reinforces your soul when we choose those true auric colors. So that's the first step in the process. The second step is the blossom session. And then we go into selecting the gemstones, creating or like choosing a design and the precious metals and all of that. And then we get the ring made. So I have a wholesale jeweler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a jeweler myself. I'm just really good, Mel, at finding amazing people.
That's good. And then I guess that's the thing with the product as well, is that you don't need to necessarily be the person who is actually create the product. It's you're bringing everything together as that combination.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I have an amazing jeweler that creates our rings, and that jeweler is part of the Australian Gold and Silversmith Guild. And it was like just, oh my gosh, the craftsmanship that comes out of his studio is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then I energetically attune and activate the ring, and then I give it over. I hand it over, I deliver it, I hand deliver it or post it off. And then the real fun begins, because, oh my gosh, Mel, to see people's faces when they first meet their rings is just like the bee's knees. It's so good. It's just so, so wonderful to see people's reactions. And then, of course, when they wear them and the rings start to work on them over time, and, I can see like what happens. I had one made for myself and I've tested it out for myself, and how much I've evolved over the time of having my ring is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So super exciting for me to be in touch with my customers and see what happens for them too.
And I noticed that on your website as well, that you have that like a 6-month or an update at a different stage after someone's received their ring as well.
Yeah. So as part of being a customer of the House of Orion, my customers get invited into complimentary calls with me every 6 months. It's a group call, a live group call where we do it online. So everyone all over the world, interstate, can all come. And in those calls, so I have like a big vision, Mel, of creating the world's largest crystal grid. And in that, I want to use my jewellery or our jewellery to form that grid. And the purpose of that grid, I call it the House of Orion crystalline energetic grid. It's a bit of a mouthful. But the purpose of that grid is to support the ascension of the planet and all of the inhabitants of this planet. So we work on an energetic level in those 6 monthly calls. And I take, people get to do just awesome energetic activation work with me. And then also I make sure that all of the energies of the rings are all good. They get little upgrades if they need them. And I just check in and make sure all of that is just as it should be as
Just
well.
as it should be. I love that. And so what's I want to come back to the energy of the ring when someone receives it in a moment, but just in terms of the process for a customer, like what generally is a time frame? So from when they first maybe have their energy reading, what would be until they receive their ring? Like how long does that take?
It is a little bit varied. The quickest I can do it is about 3 months.
Yep.
And it depends on the person. It depends on, it's really funny because I say all of the rings have their own divine timeline. Like they just have their own time frame in which they're made. Some people, I do have payment plans. So I allow people to do interest-free payment plans with me.
Yeah.
So some people will take some more time to pay off their rings before the arrival. And then other people are like, I must have it immediately, Donna. And I'm like, okay. And then, of course, I've got that gemstone selection process too. So when someone's had that blossom session, I go off and I source gemstones and I'm intuitively selecting them. Like I'm handpicking every gemstone for that person. And I come back and I present that person with gemstones. So far, I've only had one customer that I didn't find the gemstone in that first lot.
Yeah.
Most of my customers are like, oh, Mel, it's just one of those other moments like when they receive their ring for the first time. When people meet their gemstone for the first time, even if it's via Zoom, something happens and it's like, they just know. It's like, I call them their soulmate stones because they just know when they meet their stone, like either they smile or they stop talking or they cry or they're like, oh gosh, I can feel that in my heart.
That connection is amazing. Like that, obviously that the feeling that they have or what it can bring to people.
I know. It's phenomenal. It blows my mind. The whole thing still blows my mind as a, everyday, regular human person. Yeah.
And that's what you do. But yeah.
And yeah, it's just, that's a really beautiful process as well because just seeing that reaction. And someone said to me actually, like when they met so she has a pink tourmaline. Actually, that's going to be released on my socials soon. When she met her gemstone, she said that she felt like she was at home. And I was like, oh my gosh,
that would make me cry too. Oh my gosh. And because, so I wanted to touch on that because I did again. I was looking at the website that like the words that you're using in there in terms of, you place your ring on your finger, it activates your energy field. And as you slide your ring onto your finger, you're mesmerized. Like just that whole, and even I think there's another bit there, like you feel your energy rippling up your arm and through your body. Like that just is amazing.
Truly, Mel, I just wrote what I saw and felt.
I love it. And even like your energy field ignites, your soul is awakening. Like that's how people feel when they experience this.
Yes. And, I just feel like, having been in the healing modality industry for so long, I just feel like so many people feel like a healing process is a hard journey. That you have to do all the shadow work, that you have to like kind of re-traumatize yourself by going back and visiting stuff from the past. I truly believe that healing can be done through beauty. And it can be that we actually, instead of trying to clear old stuff all the time or delving into the past pains, like why can't we just connect with the beauty of our soul and have this gorgeous piece of jewelry that we look down at our fingers and are like, oh yeah, that's who I am.
That's who you are, yeah.
Just reminding myself by looking at this beautiful piece of bling on my finger. Yeah, why not?
And so how long have you been going in this the House of Orion?
So I launched it at about, we were coming out of a lockdown in Melbourne. It was like the first day or like the last day of a lockdown or something. And I did like this soft online launch. I think it was March last year.
Okay. And so where are you just direct customer? Like did you sell online? Like how do people reach you or get in contact with you and stuff like that too?
Yeah, I'm just direct to customer. And so because it's such a personalized process, you just have to go through my process. You can't buy a ring off my shop, off a shop online or anything like that.
That's your point of difference, obviously.
Yes.
It can't just be any ring that's just on there. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, Mel, I've explored all those different options. Like, would I go down that path? And especially in the setup of the business, I was
Mhm.
like, what does it want to be? I
Yeah.
just feel like I'm this guardian or somehow like birthing this business. Like, I've always just been checking in with the soul of the business. What does it want to be? And every step of the way, it's given me really clear answers. Like, it wants to be completely customized to one person. It wants to be the highest quality gemstones I could find. That was a whole big exploration in and of itself. They want to be handmade, not CAD computer generated and mass produced. Like, it's not about making huge amounts of money. It's not about that. This is about something so much more meaningful.
And as you said, like it's just that connection to each customer. I did see though that on your Instagram, maybe it's on your Instagram, that you'd had like you're at a party recently. Like how did
Yeah.
like, so you could, I even thought, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, imagine doing events in this, that way as part of an event, you're like a little side thing going on. That could be amazing.
Yeah, I'd really love to do that actually. I'd really love to do that. And it's not something that I've done yet. What you were looking at was my first House of Orion party that I hosted. And I mentioned to you before, I live on the Mornington Peninsula outside of Melbourne. I hired this absolutely gorgeous luxe Airbnb and I hosted my first party there. So I envisaged like before the event, a big lounge room and all of us sitting around in a circle and my gemstones, gemstones in the middle and just beautiful like platters of food and all of that and champagne. And so I did all of that. And what I did at the party was I went around while everyone sat there in the presence of each other. I did the energy readings, the ones that I offer for free that people can just book in for. And it was such an amazing event, Mel. Like there were people laughing and there were people crying and there was just this beautiful intimacy in the room because what happens when I do the readings is that like you get seen, right? Your soul is acknowledged, the essence of you is acknowledged. And that's a really beautiful thing. So yeah, that's what happened at the first party. And my heart was so full, Mel. It was just this really beautiful moment in time where I was like, oh gosh, this has all come to life.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I'm sure there'll be people listening going, oh, I want to know more about how Donna can come and see me as well. So I'm sure people get in touch with that. And so in terms of where your customers are, do you have customers all over the world? Like how have they found you, or how is it word of mouth where people find out about you? Like what's been the best way for people?
Yeah, so far it's been word of mouth. I have customers interstate and I'm about to send my first ring off internationally to Spain, no less. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, so far it's really just been word of mouth.
I love that. And I guess that's it. If it has that really unique point of difference, then people want to share it, and people who received it themselves, they want to tell everyone about it, I'm sure, because of how it makes them feel as well.
Yeah, that's right. And it is something special. It is something different and it is something meaningful. And I feel like people are either choosing to buy a ring for themselves because they're just like, I want to give myself this gift. But I've also had people buy it as a gift for someone else, both when the person who was receiving it knew about it so I could take them through the process, but also I've done it as a surprise. And I've actually just made an engagement ring for someone, for a couple.
Wow.
So instead of doing a process like about the person who's going to wear it, I ran the process like their love story. So it was it's so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. It's like, yeah, absolutely stunning. That one will come onto my socials as well soon.
Oh, that's exciting. I look forward to seeing that as well. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I was going to ask about that in terms of how, if someone was gifting it to someone else, how that would work. And I guess that's where it might be the story, or might learn about them in other ways.
Yes. So, yeah, it could be a surprise or it could be with that person knowing about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there've been definitely like special birthday presents or...
Yeah, all sorts of different...
Also, no reason is a really great reason.
That's right. I think, I don't know what the stats are, but I'm pretty sure that the numbers of people buying jewellery for themselves has dramatically increased in the last 10 to 15 years, surely.
I would not be surprised about that. I would not be surprised.
Hello, lovely. If you're looking for a way to grow your product business without relying on Facebook ads or posting daily on social media, then I invite you to register for my free masterclass. This is happening very, very soon, and inside of this masterclass, I'm sharing the strategy behind building a profitable product-based business so you can attract consistent customers and scale to 6 figures and beyond. I also emphasise how to create a sustainable long-term business, which is such an important factor for me. I'm so excited to be teaching this masterclass soon, so make sure you go and register for your free spot by heading to the link in the show notes below.
I feel like as well, we buy jewelry to commemorate milestones in our lives.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's starting a new business, or maybe it's an ending of a relationship or a marriage, or at the beginning of a marriage, like the engagement ring, or just, you know, I really feel like jewelry is such a beautiful thing to commemorate milestones with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow, this is good. So do you have long-term customers? Like, do you have people, as you said, like, is it something that people come back and they, obviously the one customer you have will come back for that one ring or one piece of jewelry and connect back. Have you had anyone come back again to get that second piece?
I haven't yet, but I think the business is too new for that,
Too new.
you know? I would love that. Like, I keep joking with my husband that I'm going to end up with a ring on every finger and a ring on every toe. Because, I mean, I believe that there's more than one soulmate stone for me out there.
Absolutely.
But so no, I haven't had anyone come back yet, but I would really love that. Also, the jewelry is made to be heirloom jewelry. I really envisage these rings to be something that not only, you know, my daughter will wear, but my granddaughters or my grandchildren will wear. You know, that this legacy of leaving these beautiful pieces of jewelry that they know will be like, yeah, that was Grandma Donna's ring, you know, that was, and she has, you know, and then being able to connect with me like that, even if I'm not around anymore.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. I love that connection to the person and how that can make them feel, or as you say, generations later as well.
Yeah. And some of the rings do have that ancestral connection too. So sometimes when I'm doing that energetic attunement and activations of the ring, every now and then, not always, but sometimes I have someone's loved one who's passed away pops in and they're like, I want to be featured in this. Like, I want to. So just recently I had someone's dad who'd passed away come in, and he was just saying to the daughter through me, you know, I just want you to know how much I love you. Oh, God, I'm feeling emotional. I just want you to know how much I love you. I want you to know how proud of you I am. Like, I want you to look at this ring and remember how proud of you I am, how much I love you.
Wow.
And knowing that person and knowing the discord in their relationship before their dad passed is like going to be so incredibly meaningful for that person to know that he's just there with this waterfall of love coming out of him to her, and the jewelry can help her connect with that.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's such an interesting area that I'm sure when you meet people and explain what you do, you get so many different questions.
Yes. Yes.
Do people ask you, what sort of things do people ask you about what you do in general?
I think, look, even some people are like, I don't know what this is. I don't even know what to say, Donna. You know, and you can see their faces and you're like, okay, maybe you don't get it. That's all right. But some people ask me like, oh, so, you know, now, you know how we're sitting across the table having dinner, like, are you reading my energy, Donna? Or like, how does this work? Or how do you do the energy attunements for the rings? Like, how does that actually work? And what else do people ask me? How does it work when, like, you know, I was saying about it being heirloom jewelry, like it's custom made for the wearer? How does that work when it gets handed down to future generations? And it does. It's like you're giving like a part of yourself to them as well. And any purpose or energies that ring activates in you will also activate in whoever you choose to gift it to.
Yeah.
I also get asked about the colors of gemstones. People ask me a lot about the meaning of gemstones. So, you know, you can go into a shop and buy crystals and you'll get like, there'll be a little placard of this crystal means this. And people will like, oh, so what does an aquamarine mean, Donna? Or what does this or that mean? I'm like, actually, that's not how I work. I can give you a general overview of a gemstone, but the gemstones speak to me like they're like individuals like you and me, and every stone has like a particular thing that it wants to give the person.
For some people, that's just hard to like get their head around. What is it? So it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I can understand that. But like even my jeweler, who is he's not spiritual, he said, you know, we all talk about this in the jewelry industry. Stones speak to us, and then we create the ring around the stone, right? So I just take it to umpteenth level of that. So yeah, each stone. So I can hold a stone and I will tune into it just like I would read your energy field. I read the energy field of the stone and can say like, this stone wants to do the X, Y, and Z for you. So in my world, gemstones don't all have the same meanings, although one of the beautiful things that I do offer my customers is this gorgeous portal that they log into that's obviously personalized, just like everything else is. And I do have gemstone guides that I include in that. So the gemstone guides, along with I create these beautiful documents that outline what the blossom session was about and what are the unique energies and purpose of your ring and all of that sort of stuff. So there's this luscious portal that they also get as a customer, as part of the experience.
I saw as well, part of the process obviously is that delivery and that the customer journey that someone goes on with you is personal, it is customized, as you said, and you have thought about every step of the way and how what people go through to get to that one stage to the next, but also that delivery of the product. I mean, you've got an amazing packaging, there's a couple of different things in there. Can you go through how you came up with that?
Well, like I said to you earlier, I just keep asking the soul of my business, what does it want me to do for it? What does it want me to create? And all along, my motto's been the highest quality and the highest vibe. So, and I can feel when I did so much exploration with my packaging, I found it really difficult to find anything that was suitable and that really matched the kind of energy that I was really wanting to create. So it's been really obvious to me where I haven't hit the mark. And when I haven't hit the mark, I need to keep on working on that until I do before any of my customers experience it. So I also have created this absolutely gorgeous ring display holder. And it's a glass cloche that has the Orion logo etched in it. And so, a glass cloche is like a little dome, yes. And then a black obsidian plate that it sits on. And I have that etched with the actual Orion constellation. And the black obsidian disc acts as a charging plate for the ring. So whenever you're not wearing your ring, then there's a little acrylic ring holder that you sit your ring on in the middle of that dome. And you've just got this beautiful display where your ring is always you can walk past it on your dressing table or wherever you decide to keep it. You're like, oh yeah, there's my beautiful ring. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're not wearing it.
Yeah.
And I just want it to be every step of the way that people are like, oh wow.
That's what I mean. You've really considered that every step. And I think that's what's so, again, different about the product. It is that whole, you're not, as you said, selling a piece of, you're not just selling a product, you're, selling the why of that connection and helping people connect with who they are.
Yeah. And I just feel like the fun really begins when they get their ring and then we get to hang out, every 6 months. And I have customers contacting me saying, Donna, and then this happened. Remember this in our blossom session? And then this happened.
Oh, I love that. So that's that ongoing connection with people as well.
Yeah.
And that's really special. And it is really different, as you say. I think it is something that, not everyone is doing or not everyone can do. I guess that's more the connection, that your background and history, sort of that connection from to now as well, how you can bring the two things together.
Oh, thanks, Mel. Yeah, I feel like it's been a culmination of all of that experience that I've had over the last 20 odd years, of culminating in this
where you are now.
Beautiful little business. Yeah.
And so, if people are intrigued by this, I'm sure there's people who will be like, I need to find out more about this. Or, some people I'm sure are like, I don't quite understand. Others are like, I need to find out more about this. So obviously, as you said, people can get a free energy reading. So that's something that you just do. There's no obligation to obviously proceed with getting a
not at all.
It's just about, connecting and seeing how they feel about that first part.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyone can book in for a free energy reading. They can head to my website, which is thehouseoforion.com.au, and book in for a free energy reading there and have a look at my process. And then really Instagram is probably the place to go to have a look at some of the jewelry that I've made and perhaps a little bit more of what I'm about.
Yep. And in that, in terms of the design, so that is definitely open to whatever people want as well in terms of the design look, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I laugh at myself, Mel, because when I did that soft launch that I told you about, like, early last year, my very first customer, so I went through this process with my jeweler and we created a house setting for the House of Orion. And that means really just a house design of what a ring would look like with any given stone kind of put into it. And that usually takes like up to 10 years to develop. Something like that. So, and we did it in a matter of 3 months. So when I did that soft launch, Mel, I thought everyone will just love this house setting because I love it so much, right? And lo and behold, my first customer didn't love it.
Yeah. They're like, that's not what I'm after.
Yeah, I was crushed on the inside and realized that, of course, not everyone is going to like what I like. And I went through this amazing custom design process with her, and that just taught me so much. It's nothing like learning on the go.
Yes. And I'm sure you're like, I'm not sure if that's possible. I have to check that one.
Right. So it's been a steep learning curve, that's for sure. And so now I offer 2 options, and that is you can choose the house setting if it lights you up and if you know that you really you love it.
Yeah.
And if you don't love it, then we'll go through a custom design process and you can basically have what you want, whatever you want. And so there are rings that have got diamonds in the band, or I just done one with sapphires in the band as well as an orange center stone. It's really about focusing on that soulmate colored gemstone that you choose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I really want you to have like everything I want you to look at the ring and go, oh my goodness, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So our design process is like, that's the end goal.
Yes, that's what you want. That's what you want.
Yeah.
And so what's next for you? Are you just at that point of, as you said, you haven't been going that long, reaching more people, sitting with more people, and let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, that really is what's next for me. I've thought about, do I launch other product lines and all of that? And it actually just doesn't feel right, at least not for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
What does feel good is like trying to get the message out there about what we do and just, meeting more people and doing more energy readings. Like I just love doing energy readings for people.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said before, like zero obligation to go ahead with a ring with a free energy reading. But right now for me, it's just about building my brand awareness and letting people find out more about what we do.
Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for joining me here today, Donna. It has been, fascinating just learning more about the process, understanding more about how the House of Orion's come about and what this really special, unique product that you create. It's just, I've loved hearing more about it and loved hearing more about the journey. Now, I will obviously put your links and everything in the show notes so that people can get that free energy reading or get in contact with you. But thank you so much for sharing today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it and all of your beautiful, wonderful questions. Thank you very much.
I look forward to my energy reading coming up soon as well.
Absolutely. Me too.
Thanks, Donna.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening to the Lotco Business Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you subscribe to receive future episodes as they are released. And I'd be so, so grateful for a review on Apple Podcast. If you would like a copy of the show notes or any of the links mentioned today, please jump onto my website at thelotco.com.au/podcast. Have an amazing week, and I look forward to chatting to you again soon.